Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of the Ezer Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Altimese Nichole, and I am so very excited to have this amazing conversation with two dynamic women who have had such an impact on my life and on my journey as a woman, as a business owner. They're so integral into who I am today, and to be able to share this space with them is just a beautiful honor. So I'm just ecstatic to start this conversation with Dr. Nicole LaBeach and Crystal Khalil, the amazing Wonder Twins of Sister Diamonds. Crystal and Dr. Nicole, they are a dynamic duo building an empire to empower women to unbind, unpack, and unleash their unlimited potential in business, love, relationships, and in life, y'all. And they are just making waves. They have set records with one of the largest virtual slumber parties in the world. And it's just an honor to sit with both of you and to talk about the importance of discovering our light, identifying it, right? And then also being unapologetic and showing up in a world that sometimes feels like they don't want you to shine your light at all. So thank you both for joining today.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited. So
Thank you.
how did you guys meet? Like, how did this connection come about?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, Altimese, and for sharing us with your lovely audience. You know how near and dear you are to my heart and our hearts. And just we're so proud to see you and what you're doing and how you are shining your light in this dim world with this Azar podcast and everything that you are doing. We are so proud of you. And you are a very special part of our journey.
Yeah.
As you know, and I'll share with the audience, Dr. Nicole and I met through a mutual friend while I was working at Porsche. I was the head of procurement for North America, and Dr. Nicole was bidding on some DEI business at Porsche, and a colleague of mine, friend of hers from Morehouse, introduced us and said that he thought we had similar spirits and we were like minded and thought that we should connect. So we connected in that business setting. But because it was a business, she was bidding on some business. I was the head of procurement. We had to try and maintain some safe distance in the conversation, but we knew that there was a connection. And so how God does things, He continues to confirm, right? So the
Right.
first time we were able to go to lunch, just the two of us, we were going to just meet for a business lunch, and something amazing happened. As we're talking, the mask fell off. My mask fell off, her mask fell off. And before we knew it, we were not Crystal Khalil, head of procurement for Porsche Cars North America, Dr. Nicole LaBeach, CEO of Volition Enterprises. We were
Wow.
just Crystal and Nicole. And before you know it, we were laughing and crying and sharing. And we were like, we're sisters. I don't know if you know it, but we sisters from another mother, sisters from another mister, right? We just connected on
Yes.
face. And what was supposed to be a 45-minute lunch turned into us shutting the restaurant down. They were cleaning up around us by the time we left. And it was like, okay, I don't know what just happened, but it was amazing. And we have to stay connected. And we met maybe two other times after that, and each time it was the same effect. And what Dr. Nicole didn't know was that I was in prayer about leaving corporate America. I had, achieved my dream job. I had built this life for myself that, from all outward appearances, looked amazing, but I was unfulfilled. I was overwhelmed. I was exhausted. I wanted to shine my light, and I felt like I was in a box, quite frankly. I felt like I worked for this amazing brand, but it defined me, and I didn't know who I was. So I was asking God, what's next? And what would you have me to do? So I was in prayer about retiring and taking a leap and doing my own business, pursuing my own purpose. And I made that leap in January of 2020, and Dr. Nichole found out about it. And she reached out to me and said, I want to celebrate you for having the courage to take the leap. I've been out here as an entrepreneur for 16 years now, and I know how hard it can be. I made the leap from corporate America myself. And I want to avail myself to you. If you ever want to just get together and work at Starbucks, or you just need somebody to talk to on this journey, she's like, I want to be that for you. And she invited me to breakfast to celebrate my leap. And I thought it was like somebody offered me a tall glass of cold water. And I was in the desert. And so I went to her house, her home, and she cooked an amazing breakfast for me. It was top notch, made with love. And 8 hours later, we were in business. 8 hours later, we were in business with one another. And the amazing thing is, you talk about shining your light. When I left corporate America, every year I ask God, what is my focus word for the year? What is my focus word? And when I retired, my focus word was illumination. And what I took that to mean was shining my light and showing other people how to shine theirs. Because I recognized how dark the world was and how dark things were around me. Did not know that that same year the pandemic would hit. Had no clue that that same year the George Floyd situation would happen. I just knew God said, I need you to leap and shine, illuminate, right? Because people are going to be looking for light. And Dr. Nichole's word for the year was collectivism. So we, in that 8 hour breakfast, we realized when illumination and collectivism comes together, it's just simply brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And that's where Sister Diamonds came from. Diamonds go through a process of cultivation that includes immense heat, immense pressure, right? Removal of the inclusions so that it can shine bright and so that light can shine through it. And that's what our avatar is, that woman. She is a diamond that has been through immense heat, immense pressure, and God wants her to shine her light so that others can see. But it's got to come through the light. When you have a beautiful diamond, what makes the diamond priceless is the ability for light to flow through it.
And
Yeah.
you know what? You touched on something so absolutely beautiful that I don't want us to just breeze past it. Like, don't act like you didn't say what I heard you just say.
What did I say? What did I say?
That was Dr. Nichole. You reached out to a sister to tell her, I see you and I'm here for you. And you made her breakfast. You gave her a full spread. Let's talk about that. Like, what did you have that in your journey? And like, what evoked your spirit to do that for Crystal?
It's interesting. I've had that in my journey in different ways. The power of mentorship, I'm a woman that at this point have a mentor that's been in my life for 26 years. And that's one. So I've always known there was immense power in extending yourself to others and not feeling like you had to do it by yourself. I didn't have anybody make me breakfast. So, I'm feeling quite good in this moment because when the truth of the matter was I recognize the power when women feel safe and seen. And when we are in public places, It's not that we're not safe and seen, but there is a pattern of wearing the mask. So we take it with us wherever we go. Whenever we leave the house, we take it with us. And sometimes when we're in each other's homes, that is the permission to say, come as you are, see where I live, see who I am based on what I call a safe space. And food makes so many conversations better. So when I invited Crystal, I did not intend to make her breakfast. I intended for us to have breakfast. But the Holy Spirit is so kind that he said, take everything off of your calendar. Because for me, 2.5 hours, I'm going to make a space. And he said, that's not what I want you to do. I was like, okay. And he was like, make her breakfast. I was like, oh, I'm cooking? He said, celebrate her with your time, with your talent. Make her something that'll feel good to the soul. And I was like, oh, we doing breakfast for real. Okay. And I followed that. And I tell you, Altimese is the best investment ever made. Oh my God. I had no idea that shucking that corn and making eggs with fresh shucked corn and Havarti cheese and girl.
She did that.
But I will say this. When you nurture the soul of another woman, amazing things happen that are priceless. You can't anticipate it. You can't put a price on it, because every time you nurture her soul, you are helping her to bloom every single time. Every single time. So I didn't know what I was doing, but I have been rewarded greatly for making breakfast that day. I don't have any regrets. I listened to you. So there you go.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's just so beautiful, the space and the sisterhood that you two cultivate together, and then create that same energy around the circle of Sister Diamonds in the community. So like, what influence that?
It's transferable. I got to interject that, right?
Yeah.
We don't really recognize that energy is transferable, which is why you can feel a person from down the block. You can look at them and feel their energy coming closer, and you're deciding, what is my energy going to do? But really, both of your energies are deciding what both of your energies are going to do, because it's transferring, right?
Yes.
So what I was so grateful for was every time Crystal and I got together, the energy was saying, yes, amen, and thank you, God. Like, we would talk and it was like, yes, come on, sis. And it's like, oh my God, amen, thank you, God. Every time our cups were just pouring into each other. And that energy was light bringing light. There was never a feeling of turn down a little bit so that I can elevate. There was never a feeling of, oh God, your light is so bright. I don't know if being in the same space is going to make me look good. It was always, baby, turn all the way up. Let us see us. Turn it all the way up. Not from an ego standpoint, but turn it up so that we can make more of a path for others. Let them see our light so that they can get on the path, because free women. So the more we were in a space of being free with each other, we were like, oh, please come get you some, whoever you are.
Yes.
Come on, there's more than enough, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to add to that because we gave each other permission to shine, knowing that my light does not dim her light and her light does not dim mine. But we also advocated for one another's illumination. So it's when you're in partnership. I remember hearing somebody once say a partnership is a sinking ship, right? And we hear women always say, I don't like to be around other women because they keep drumming, da 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 da. And I always
Come
surround
on.
myself with men. All those things we've all heard. What's
Yes.
beautiful about our relationship and our community is that we don't dim our light, but we advocate for one another to shine at full luminosity as well. Because of who we have both been in industry, in the world, both of us did amazing things individually, but coming together, right, was something new for people. And there was always opportunities, she was featured. She was the host on Put a Ring on It on a television show on OWN. People saw Dr. Nicole,
Yes.
but they didn't see Crystal, right? So there was
Right.
always opportunity for people to try and dim my light to elevate hers. And she would be like, not today. You're not going to
Right.
dim my sister's light. Not
That's
today. Not today.
Mm.
And then there were opportunities where there were spaces where people knew me, but didn't
right.
know her. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh, no, 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 not today. You're going to recognize my
Mm.
sister's light. You're not going to elevate me and dim her. That's not what we do. And so we not only, give each other permission, we advocated for one another. And we do that in our community and in our tribe. We tell the women in our Sister Diamonds Collective, there's no need to hide or dim your light in here. And we're very intent to look for it, ultimately. So if
Mm.
I'm talking to you and I know you got 100-watt light bulb and you only at about 40 watts,
Mm.
I'm not just gonna glaze over that. I'm
Right.
gonna stop and say, Altimese, you okay today? What's going on?
Mm.
You good?
Mm.
Cause your light is a little dim. You all right? I'm gonna check
Mm.
in. And so often we are used to being unseen, right?
Yeah.
Because we're so brilliant, we're so amazing, we are running the world, we're doing all these things. So from the outside, it looks like we have everything handled, but on the inside, we could be walking around depressed, overwhelmed, exhausted,
Yes.
all of those things. So when somebody actually stops and sees you, the other thing is, we're so used to diminishing our light that we'll say things like, oh, child, I just got this little award the other day. And we're like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I need you to take little from before the
Right.
award. Why is it a little? Why? Oh, yeah, you got your little house, your little car, your little award, your little family. Why does it have to be
No,
little? No little ain't needed here. I don't need you to diminish your accomplishments for me to
right.
feel good.
Mm.
We have intentionally created a circle and a tribe that no longer has to set themselves on fire to keep everybody else warm.
Woo.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
it. That's it.
Amen.
And
Amen.
you said something, and I've heard women say this. All of us have heard it, where they say, "Oh, I don't do females, or I can't be around other females. I can't do this." What do you say to the woman who is feeling a little heartbroken because of past experiences with other women, and they loving what you're saying, they feel what you're saying, but they still have that guard of being
Yeah.
like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
You know, often those experiences are created because we were using the wrong formula in how to
Mm.
trust and experience other people. And when we start to, in our tribe, teach women how to trust, the
Mm.
gift of vulnerability, they start to recognize, oh, so I experienced something traumatic, and that became the lens from which I added more traumatic dynamics to see everything through those shades. Because if you wear glasses like we've got glasses, you see one view. But if I put a tint over these glasses to see the natural sky, I got to lift it. So what we start to say is, let's lift those shades because it's not serving you. When we say things like, I don't do women, the challenge is that construct is not serving you, because what you get from another woman, just seeing you in the airport, when I used to travel all the time, Altimese, early in the morning, sometimes there would be sisters that were consulting and they're going to other places and they dressed from head to toe. And I'm dressed from head to toe. And we could see each other across lines, and just a smile said everything. Said, I see you, sis. Go do that. Go do that. Let them have it. That meant everything, because just the smile from another woman that is well intentioned can make all the things you think you're fighting against not seem like it's going to overtake you. But when you've had trauma and you haven't learned how to take those shaded glasses off to see new opportunity and see the women that are not going to break you, they're going to lift you. They're not going to compete with you. They're going to collaborate with you. They're not going to ask you to do anything that makes you unsafe. They're going to try to help create safety for you. They don't have any desire to look past you. They want to look right at you and say, you good? I'm good. You ready? Let's go. When you recognize that that's what you're leaving on the table, you're like, you know what? I'll give up 2 traumas, Alex, and I'll take all those blessings that I didn't even know were sitting over there. I want that. Yes. But if you don't have the opportunity to see that that's what you're leaving, you can be fooled into thinking where you've been is God's best for you, and it's not.
And I want to add to that too, because that was so beautiful. But any sisters out there that are still like, yeah, but ain't nobody perfect, and I don't want to be hurt. What happens is when we have those hurts, we build walls instead of boundaries. And the problem with a wall is it keeps the bad things out, but it also keeps the good things out. And the good things, those women that Dr. Nichole are talking about, we're not perfect. Those women are not perfect, right? So even though they have the best intentions and they are working on self-help and health, they will make mistakes. But the difference is they will self-correct. They will hear you. They will see you. And when you learn that, you learn the power of boundaries instead of walls, you can say to a sister that is doing her own work, sis, that hurt me. Can we talk about that? And she can hear you and say, you know what, Altimese? I am sorry. That was not my intent. Let me explain what I meant, and I hope you can hear me and that we can find a place where we both walk away from this healthy and whole. That's a whole different conversation.
For sure.
Right? So you make space for that when you understand that nobody is perfect. But I don't build walls where the good can't get in. And I miss out on all that yummy Dr. Nichole just talked about because of some bad decisions or bad people that have done some bad things in my past.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Talk about the concept, the idea, and the reality of building walls versus building boundaries. What's the difference?
So walls. So Nicole and I talk about this all the time. In 285, in Atlanta, you have 285 that goes all the way around the city, right? You can get on
Right.
285 and you can ride 285 all day, over and over. It's just gonna go in a circle, right? On
Yep.
285, there are dotted lines that say it's okay to cross. There are solid lines that say stay in your lane. There are retainer walls that say if you go on the other side of this highway, you're going to be in incoming traffic, right? It's the
Mm.
same way with boundaries. It's the same way with walls. Boundaries say, here's my dotted lines. It's okay for you to safely cross into this space. But on these dotted lines, this is where I hold firm, and you need to respect my boundaries and stay in your lane. If you violate, there is a possibility you might get a ticket. And if you
Mm.
continue violating, I may have to revoke your license. And this wall says, don't come over this side. This wall says, stay on that side going south because we over here going north. So that's the difference between boundaries and walls, right? And we have to be very intentional, because if on 285 there were no police officers sitting at certain exits monitoring the traffic and issuing violations, people would be doing donuts on the highway. They would be going
Mm-hmm.
150 miles per hour on the highway, which they sometimes do in Atlanta, right? You have boundaries, you have to enforce them by
Yes,
saying,
that part.
slow down. This is a 55-mile per hour zone. You moving way too fast, brother. I need you to slow down.
Mm.
Here's a violation, right? I'm gonna give you another chance. You do it again, I'm gonna have to increase the fine or take away your license. So it's the same way in how we move. The problem is there are people driving around on a highway with retainer walls between every lane
Mm.
instead of dotted lines and solid lines.
Mm.
Because you want there to be a guide.
Right.
You want people to be able to win at the beauty of a highway. The beauty
Right.
of a highway is you can get to a lot of places faster. It gives you access to places that are harder to access just by the regular road. There's a wonderful opportunity in every highway that you enter, but you have to be guided by how to navigate the
Mm.
highway. The boundaries give people a guide to follow. So when people say, I don't know how to do boundaries, I can't do boundaries, but they look at the collisions everywhere, it's because people don't have a guide as to how to utilize access. The
Mhm.
minute you get on 285 tells you how to utilize it by that speeding sign and by the other signs that let you know traffic is slowing down. It's going to take you this long to get to this exit. It's guiding
Mm.
you so that you can follow the guidelines. That's what a boundary is. So when you don't have any, people speed, people drive in the other direction, people do
Mm.
all kinds of things that increase your risk of being hurt, being wounded, being
Yes.
betrayed, all of this stuff because they don't know where's the solid line, what's the speed limit, where's the dotted line, where's the median, what is
Mm.
happening. They don't have a guess except but to do what they want to do. And
And
Mm.
if
you know
what
what's
they do doesn't line up with what you want to do, you're in trouble.
Right.
you know what, and what really helped to me with boundaries, ultimately, and what I think a lot of people struggle with is we sometimes think boundaries are to keep things from happening to us, right? The
Right.
truth is, boundaries are not to keep you off the highway. They want you to enter the highway. Boundaries are to keep you safe on the highway. So it's the
Mm.
same with us. Boundaries in our life are not to keep us from having connection, they're to keep us safe in connection. And when
Mm-hmm.
you look at it from that perspective, you understand that it's not about confrontation and confronting everybody. It's about saying, this is how to be in safe connection with me and in community with me, where we both grow, where we're both healthy, where we're both happy. I want to be in community and in connection with you. And this is how we do it the right way. Not, I don't let nobody on my highway. I don't connect with women. I don't do this. I don't do that. That's a wall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really attracts interesting people.
Mm.
So when you have walls, healthy people see the wall and they say, I don't scale walls.
Mm-hmm.
I want to connect with people. I want to be known and get to know others. I want to have a fair exchange. All I'm seeing is a wall, so I'm going to pass on that.
Mm.
Some of the folks that you attract when walls are what you do are the people that like to scale walls.
Mm.
They don't want any rules. They want a chase, an achievement. They want to scale the walls so that they can do interesting things once they get over to the other side. That's not really what you want. So there's been a illusion that what keeps us safe is the walls, when the truth of the matter is what keeps us safe is the boundaries. So
Mm.
it's a shift
Ooh.
in paradigm. It's a shift in
Yes.
paradigm to be able to not say he who gets the prize is who can scale the wall. Not so much.
Mm.
You want incremental, healthy access. You want to know he can do 65. He doesn't always have to do 100, hoping to not get caught by somebody seeing him break the rules. You want to know, can you follow rules?
Yeah.
Can, can you follow rules, or are you a lane violator? And that's how you move. I want to know that you're a lane violator on the freeway,
Mm.
because
Mm. And
they like
there's
to
a
make good decisions, right?
yes, yes, and there's a common thread of safe space,
Mhm,
creating a space of safety. What do
mhm,
you say to a woman who desires to build a safe space,
mhm,
but she doesn't yet know how to even create that for herself?
Do
mhm.
your work, sis. Do
Mm.
your work.
Yeah,
We, especially the Black community, we come from a community where is what goes on this house stays in this house,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And it something's wrong with you when you get help. There is nothing wrong with therapy. There is nothing wrong with coaching. There is nothing wrong with you seeking guidance and support
mhm,
and mentoring from healthy people that can
yeah,
help you to achieve your own personal health, right? So the a lot of times we want to focus and change other people, and we think that's going to make us healthy.
yeah,
That's
Mm.
going to make us safe. If they would just get right, I would be okay. And the truth of the matter is it's your work to do because you create your own safety in your health. So you've got to do the work. In our community, we call it the yummy, your ultimate, most meaningful yet, right? Making your yummy life decisions, your ultimate, most meaningful yet. In order to do that, you have got to go back and do some investigative work into how you got where you are. The belief systems that have you in this perpetual hamster wheel of stuck, where you don't even know what you want out of life. You don't know what makes you happy. You don't know how to be healthy, right? You've got to go and get some liberation there. You got to start
Mm.
there because you can't change anybody else. You can only change you. And when you start doing your work and understanding how you got to be where you are, What are the things in your life that you are still craving today because it's what gave you affirmation as a child? You were the one that always wanted to please mom and dad and get the good grades and get the the attaboys and the pat on the back, and you wanted them to say, "Oh, I don't worry about Altimese, honey. She always does what she's supposed to do. She always gets it done." But now in your 40s, you're like, can somebody worry about me? They still saying, I don't worry about Altimese, because you've taught everybody you don't need anybody to worry about you. They just see you for what you can do. They don't see you for who you are. But you've been conditioned in that self-betrayal since you were a little girl. So you've got to do the work to understand how you're sabotaging yourself, how you are betraying yourself, and how you can release those belief systems that have been loaned to you by your community, by your parents, the people, your circle of influence, how you can release those things and start filling yourself with some healthy things. And then once you start to feel your health and you start to know who you are and have that compassion and self-love for yourself, then you are more comfortable putting boundaries in, because you don't want anybody to violate your space of peace that you've created. So you're like, you know what? I'm doing my work. So I need to put some boundaries in with these people, some of whom I've conditioned to treat me this way. I've got to renegotiate those agreements, because we have agreements, right? I've got to renegotiate those agreements that no longer serve me and help them to understand that the speed limit on my highway is no longer 150, it's 55. I'm not going to kick you off the highway unless you can't comply. But I know you used to going 150, but we've done some work and we now understand that the safe driving limit is 55. So that's what we need to adhere to. So you do your work, and then you're able to communicate to others who you're in community with. This is the safe space for me.
And time and work are not the same thing, sis. Time is time, work is work. Time is time, work is work. So being able to say, I've been divorced for 5 years is time. The work that you've done to recover from that relationship is work. If you don't have true evidence of actions that you are putting into place to heal, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to create new tools of communication and understanding, to recognize what was injured so that you can heal it and make it new, to understand your patterns and interrupt the patterns that don't serve you. It's just time. And not that it doesn't have any value, but if you don't do the work, you can't experience all of the yummy benefits of having done the work and being able to say, I'm 5 years divorced and I've done my work. I can date because I know what I want, not just what I don't want. I am in a space where I add to people's lives, and I embrace people adding to mine. I don't have walls that they got to scale and climb and get 15 ladders to get to me. All you got to do is come on the highway and act and govern yourselves accordingly. And guess what? I'm going to do the same when I come on your highway. So it's not just one conversation to check all of my boxes of whether or not you're the next. It is a fair exchange. I get to know you, you get to know me. I'm vulnerable with you, you're vulnerable with me. I'm making moments and memories with you, you're making moments and memories with me. And as you're dating and collecting data, with girlfriends and with romantic partners, with guy friends and with romantic partners. That's when you start to learn, okay, I can do this. I've done my work. I can be seen and heard, and I can see and hear. Huh, I'm ready
Mm.
for whatever life brings my way.
I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it. And I know through the Sister Diamonds community, you all also do retreats and
Yes,
you have moments
yes,
together.
yes.
Tell us about that. Tell us about those experiences.
Mm.
We just returned from Aruba for Mother's Day weekend, and it's so, oh my gosh, it's hard to even put into words the feeling. But this is how we describe it. I drive a Tesla electric vehicle, right? It is a beautiful car. But if I don't stop and charge, it will be a
Mm,
beautiful vehicle on the side of the road.
mm,
And that's how we are as women that are doing everything for everybody. We are showing up at work and in our businesses. We're showing up at home. We're taking care of the kids, the husband, the community. We're doing all these things. But we pass by charging stations every day like we don't need to charge. And you
Mhm.
pouring. You giving energy, giving energy. But there is nothing being poured into your cup. You don't plug into anything,
mm,
right? And so then you start pulling from a deficit.
mm,
And when you're pulling from the deficit, what happens is because you're so brilliant, you are able to create some energy that's not there. And
Mm.
it starts to cause depression, overwhelm, exhaustion. You start to feel angry. Now you're lashing out. Now you're doing it, but you're not doing it from the right place because you are depleted. You are depleted. So when we laugh and say when women show up on our retreat, they are so bone dry, they're almost chalky because they
mm,
have been just they've poured out everything in their vessel into other people and they haven't had a cold drink of water. So when they
mm,
show up, from the time they hit the gates, we've got these big beautiful wooden doors on the house that we stay in Aruba, and when they show up to that
mm,
door, we meet them with a glass of water that is love. It's like, come on in,
mm,
sis. And you know
Mm.
what? We don't care who you are in the world, CEO,
mm.
whatever, whoever you are. We don't care. Titles don't matter here. What we care about is who you be. We know that's not good English, but it's the
Yes.
just be retreat. We
Yes.
care about who
Yes.
you be, not what you do. And when you come in here, this is a safe space where we remove the mask
Yeah.
and we talk to each other. We are able to share and have conversations that we can't have, especially as Black women, that we can't have anywhere else. We're able to
Yeah.
hear from God. We're able to receive good counsel. And the Bible says a wise woman can receive good counsel. We're able
That.
to receive
Yes, ma'am.
good counsel, right? We're able to be in community with women that can do for us what we do for everybody else. Because the women in our tribe, you ask them one question, they're gonna do the Google search for you, they're gonna read the white papers on it, they're gonna
On the phone.
gonna call a friend. They're gonna do
Yep.
everything that they can to serve you. They're not just gonna brush you off. They are that girl, right? So most of the time, that girl is like the highest in her class. She's the highest in the hierarchy in her circle. Everybody comes to her for that, but she doesn't know who she can turn to for that for herself. So when she comes into our
Mm,
community, it's like, oh my God, there's other women like me. And oh my
mm,
God, they actually see me. And they don't care about my title and they don't care who I am. They actually want to know who I am and what makes me happy, what makes me sad, what
mm,
do I love? What do I, what gives me joy? Those are the
Mm.
things we talk about. So
Mm.
that retreat is like 4 days of just getting filled. And
Mm.
when they leave, they are no longer pouring from an empty vessel, they're pouring from their overflow.
Mm.
You got to
I
pour
love
from the saucer. That's what we
it. I love
say. Let the cup be filled and let everybody get from the saucer. So, what
it.
Crystal didn't tell you is yes, you do get a glass of water when you arrive, but you also get yummy sangria that we make ourselves.
I love it.
You can get a wonderful, refreshing glass of water, and you can also get a glass of sangria that we made that says, "Welcome to the Just Be Retreat," and welcome to getting back to you.
Yeah.
For so many, it is an opportunity to unplug, to hear what God is saying, to get tapped back into their selves, to get back into their center, into their core, and recognize, wow, this doesn't really work so well if I jump off of my own team.
Right.
This works when I'm on my team, when I recognize, girl, you're the best thing that's happened to you. You are the guarantee. You've been looking for so many things outside of yourself, but truly, you are the guarantee. You are the power source that you have been waiting for. So let's charge back up so that you can not just do things that are good to do. Nothing wrong with good to do. But we want when you leave, you start doing what is yummy to do. You start recognizing my plate is full with all kinds of stuff that only 30% of it is what should really be on my plate. So let me start repositioning things that are not mine to do, really start connecting with. So God, what do you want me to do now?
Mm-hmm.
What's the vision? I want to see the vision that you have for me, and I want to put my energy towards that. Send the resources and the destiny helpers for that. And then everything starts to conspire in that request because you're not hiding anymore. You're not trying to prove. You're not trying to protect. You're not trying to defend. You're just really trying to be. And it is so attractive. It is so yummy and sexy and honorable and good that the people that start to attract to you are the ones that are like, oh, I could do boundaries.
Yeah.
Oh, I can be responsible for access. Oh, you're giving me access. Oh, I can be responsible for access. I do responsibility. And you start to say, whoa, what happened? You
It's
happened.
powerful.
You
Yeah,
happened.
it's powerful. When you start having new conversations, like, sis, you were going 65 miles per hour and my speed limit is 55. And she says, girl, I am so, girl, you know, I got a million things going on. I'm so sorry. You know, I wasn't even paying attention and got up to 65. Let me back it down to 55 because it's a privilege to be on your highway. And I want to honor you.
That part.
That's a different level of conversation. That's the yummy. And you know, we talking about this retreat like it's open to the public, but we really are.
I was just about to say, I was gonna be like, send me the link. Send me the link.
There is a gateway into our retreat. It's called Woman Unlimited Live, ladies. WomanUnlimitedLive.com is the website. We do this once a month, and it is free for anybody to attend. It's a 4-hour workshop on a Saturday, more of a mastermind. And it is the most rewarding 4 hours you can spend when I tell you. So each and every one is different, but because each and every woman is different, so
Yeah.
it is a very safe space. You can join from anywhere in the world. It's virtual, but it's not a space where you can come and hide. A lot of times people think when they register for Women Unlimited Live, that they're gonna show up and it's gonna be 1,000 people on the screen. They can keep their screen off and they can hide. That's not what we do, because we know that
Right.
we are called to truly see you. We're called for intimacy. Into me, you see. So when you dial into Woman Unlimited Live, we're like, cut your camera on. We need to see you. We want to know your name. We're like, hey, Altimese, good morning, girl. Listen, don't worry about getting all dressed up. We get dressed up for you because that's what you expect. But you can come in your pajamas. We're not going to talk about you. We're not going to put this on social media. This is your space, but you can't hide in here. We need to be able to see you. So women come into Woman Unlimited Live and they're like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. And it's our opportunity to get to know them and them to get to know us, and us to create that safe space to remove the mask. And you can upgrade that experience and have a VIP, which you will then get a one-on-one with me and Dr. Nichole, along with a whole bunch of other resources. But the important thing is that one-on-one, because now you're not in a group space, you're able to sit down and we can strategize with you on what's your next best move, sis. What is your next best move? So we invite your audience to check out Woman Unlimited Live. Our next one is coming up on June 10th, but we have them once a month. So Woman Unlimited Live.
And
listen,
don't worry, we're going to have them links in them show notes. We're going to
yes,
have that there.
yes, because we say if the sisters from California are the best. Because Women Unlimited Live starts at 9 a.m. So the sisters from California show up ready to hide because they still sleep.
At 6
a.m. And they find out they need to be on camera. They be like, Jesus. What?
Yeah. At 9 a.m. Eastern time.
And they, it's good when the sisters from California stay to the end. They're like, I'm here, I'm awake, I'm present. This was worth being up at 6 a.m. So we invite you to come because, it's a very interesting thing, sis. To move, you have to move.
Oh my gosh. We're going to leave it right there. To move,
you have
to
to
move.
With all kind of hearts, we say that. See?
All kinds. Oh my goodness. Dr. Nichole, Crystal, thank you. Thank you so much for just sharing your beautiful light, sharing your love, sharing just the vision. I appreciate you. I honor you. And again, ladies, we are going to share these links in the show notes. Please check it out. I am actually a living witness and testimony to the impact that these women can make in your life when you open up and when you are open to not just the community itself, but doing your work. So thank you. Thank you all so much for joining another episode of the Ezer Mindset Podcast. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.